Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome.
Good morning from the gulag.
Yeah, welcome to the Gulag.
Man, today's chat was funny in the morning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Prodigy, you overslept?
No, I went to the gym last night, so yeah, I overslept a little bit.
Okay. I hear it in your voice. Tired.
Oh no, the throat is just a little bit sore.
Uh,
What are we looking at here? Yeah, my throat is not good at all. It's just pretty bad. All right, let's see here. What am I trying to do? Okay, this chat. Gotta get this chat alive. Gonna get them the link. Man, my throat is super bad today. All right, the Gulag is also live over here. Perfect. Man, I was looking at GJ here last night. I thought that we're gonna break the low and continue down towards 138,900, but I guess that didn't happen. Did not happen at all. It's Friday here. I think it's gonna be a pretty good Friday because we got NFP, and that's about it. Ooh, gold is also ranging on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big NFP because you can see how long the gold has been ranging here for. It's been ranging for the last, well, it kind of like broke below 1835 and came back around 1835, and now it's below 1842, 1844. So there's going to be a breakout coming. I also suggest anyone who's trying to really, really trade today, not to try to really, really trade today because it's a Friday. So we might not be looking at many charts here because it's a Friday. Plus, we're gonna be having two guests here today, and we'll see how that goes. Just kind of like do some analysis here on GJ here, and let's see what we can get. So in the 4 hour, we're basically at this resistance around 140, 150, 140, 200. Looking at the 1 hour, we also have this resistance. 30-minute also have this resistance. Okay, awesome. I think the only thing I'm going to be looking for is on the 1 hour. If we do break above 140, 140, 170, 140, 180, like the above the previous 1 hour high, and then continue moving bullish. That's going to be the only thing. Other than that, we're just ranging over here. This is in a actually this is a pretty big range here, 58, 60 pip range. We'll see what happens. Okay, how close to NFP is it a bad to trade 15-minute? I would say like an hour before, 30 minutes before. Like it's all up to you, like NFP is going to be at like 8:30. So it's all up to you how long you want to be in a trade, right? So if you're going to be in trade and the price is still at your entry point and you're still trying to see where price is going to go with news, then I think that's going to be a bad idea. But if you're reaching a target before NFP, it's always a good idea to maybe like take profits and let NFP play out. Normally on Fridays, I don't trade normally on Fridays. I also suggest people not to trade on Fridays either because you got to build some good discipline there by not trading Fridays. Let's take a look at this chart over here. So the price breaks the low, closes bearish at support, sells executed on next candle. Okay, it's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's take a look here. So we got unemployment rate for CAD, employment change for CAD, NFP for USD. They're looking at bad numbers, so Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, if the numbers are super, super bad, man, gold is really, really going to break out because gold has been ranging here for quite a while over here, so it's going to be pretty interesting. How long does Magic Key take to deliver to UK? Maybe check your junk mail, and you're going to find the tracking number in your junk folder, or which you can. Normally, it takes about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, 10 days to 2 weeks. So, Friday is a day when we have guests on. So we're blessed to have 2 guests on today. The first guest is going to be, I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but we're really looking forward to it. First guest is going to be a real estate guy. Let me bring that up. Let me bring him up over here.
Mr. Bono.
Yeah, Mr. Ray. Mr. Ray is going to be here soon. It's going to be around like 4 minutes, 5 minutes at 7 a.m.
I already like him. He has a dog on his profile.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a dog in the profile. Yeah.
So he's got to be good at it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it takes time. Like real estate, it takes way longer than trading. But like if you can hold it, if you can really get into it, get your first rental properties, because the whole idea is to have rental properties under your belt and then have them pay you passive income over like the next 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. Then you're really making money while doing nothing. That's like real cash flow you get at that time. And then you're like, okay, you know what? I'm getting cash flow, so perfect. I don't have to do anything at all. But that takes like 10, 15 years to just build that portfolio first. Let's take a look at this chart over here. Looks good. There's no labeling, there's no nothing, but it looks good. You're trying to buy above this consolidation. So yeah, I mean, if price does break above, there could be a move up, but I don't know where the stop loss is based off of. Whether the stop loss, you really have to identify where that stop loss is based off of. Because right over here, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at, because I mean, if you do start breaking above, only then you can identify where your stop loss is going to be, right? Like once you start to break above. So then you can say, okay, if this kind of starts to break above, you can have a stop loss below this area, or like, those things. So you have to actually wait for it to break and then identify where your stop loss is going to go. All right. Why no trade on Friday? Because it's too risky, or is there something else? It's just too risky. Because what I've seen most people lose money on Mondays because they want to rush into a trade. I've seen most people lose money on Fridays because they want to make back their losses over the week, and which normally doesn't happen. It's pretty hard. So that's why I kind of tell guys to, hey, just like chill on Friday. Like don't force trades on Friday. If you've had a winning trade on Friday, just call it a day at that point. Right, because mostly Fridays are just days to like reflect on things. Plus, sometimes we have guests on Friday, so we don't really talk about trading much. So, which is why, and as you can see, price right now, we're just ranging. We're ranging on gold. We're ranging on pound yen. Let's take a look at euro yen over here. Let's see what's going on. Euro yen is also pushing bullish over here, but it's also tapping into this resistance area on the 1 hour time frame. Looking on the 1 hour, we're tapping into a resistance, and then we're also tapping down into a support. Let's take a look at this Euro JPY chart. Price made a high, no trade zone, buys above this area, sells below this area. Looking good. Looking good, looking good. Zones are looking good. Do you use footprint from future market volume? No. I don't know what that is. footprint. All right, what's going on over here? This is a paper trade which I took based on a 4-hour time frame. 30-minute candle closed bullish, executed a buy. I would say it was a risky buy over here because the thing is, we had a resistance right over here. I think a good idea would have been once this candle was breaking the high at this point right over here. Because most times, price is going to come up and see this resistance and then kind of like reject that thing. Right? So you have to wait for price to break above the high over here. But still it was pretty good. Still worked out. What's your opinion about AIC? They will cut 500 leverage to 30 to move at other broker. Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. Can you still risk 1% on 30 to 1 leverage? I think you can. 2%. You can still risk like 2%, 3% on 30 to 1 leverage. I think if you can still risk 2-3% on 30 to 1 leverage, I think should still be pretty good. You know, shouldn't really make a difference. I'm going to try it out next week. When next week starts, I'm going to open like a small account, 30 to 1 leverage, and I'm going to see how that goes. Pretty quiet here without having Kervin or Mac here today. Alright, let's take a look at this chart over here. This is waiting for candle to close and break the support for sells. Looks good. Just gotta wait for news over here because you know price is just ranging at this point. So this is a resistance we have right here at 1844. We have a support right over here as well. Let's remove this right here. There's a support 1838.
You lonely, Rakeel? Need someone to talk to?
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for coming down.
How are you?
Good, man. Doing great. Doing great.
On the ranging markets on a Friday.
Yeah. Gold's going to have a pretty big breakout. That's what I'm excited to see today.
In the car right now. I haven't seen it.
Oh, because it's been ranging for around 17, 18 hours now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's order zone.
17, 18-hour range, and man, if it's going to break out, it's going to be a pretty nasty breakout. Because if it breaks up, we're going all the way towards, I would say like 1854, 1852, even 1850. Breaking down 1830. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Nice candles to the left. It breaks out of that.
Oh, that's what I mean. Clean candles, because this was the vaccine news on the 23rd November. This was the entire vaccine news. So if bad NFP comes in and price moves bullish, we're going to correct half of this move over here. So that's going to be
it's beautiful. That's what you look for every time.
It's going to be a beautiful push.
There's been a lot of talks of the airlines discussing furloughing more and more employees, including Disney area.
Oh, wow.
Like 32,000 or something by March. So that may play into the that we're looking for.
Man, that's crazy. That is insane. You know how many people are going to lose their jobs that way? Wow. I really feel bad for people. Like, I know a guy, he's a friend of mine. He has 2 retail stores here in 2 malls. What he did was he ordered inventory for about like 250,000 worth of inventory just to sell on retail. Nothing. Malls closed down. He's stuck now. And he's like, bro, I have like no idea what to do now. There are a lot of people like that as well, you know. People just stuck with inventory, trying to sell them over the holiday period, and boom, nothing. Malls closed down. Well, good luck. Pretty sad situation for a lot of people.
You guys have
Is he
holidays
online
now?
at all? Sorry, Sasha.
No problem. I was just asking Raj if in Toronto did they cancel the holiday gathering?
Yeah,
Ray food.
they said that you can't have more than 10 people, and people are pretty pissed about that.
Yeah, here it's even worse. They were saying we were allowed 10 people, but yesterday they canceled everything. Like now
Sasha, where are you?
Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they cancel everything now. So it's people are free.
Horrible.
Who let the dogs out? Who? Yeah, so I mean, if all day gathering are canceled, or I mean, for sure people's gonna spend less also, you know. I mean, all those buffet, all those food, all those gifts, man, economy's gonna take a dump again.
Yeah, nobody's got money to spend, and if they are, they're spending credit, which is fake money. It's not a good situation at all.
No, we'll see what happens.
Hey,
You
Ray,
there, Josh?
yeah, I'm here. Ray's here.
What's
Raja.
up? What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, good, good. So people who don't know who Ray is, Ray, I've been following Ray for a little while. Haven't really formally talked to Ray, but from what I know is that he's really built a lot of things around real estate. And one reason I wanted Ray to be here was because I personally was looking into get into in the real estate game, and I think it was pretty good to have someone on to talk about how important it is to move your let's say like if so we have a lot of guys who are making money, right? So I think it was a really good idea to have him on to kind of like guide people to see that, okay, how can you really diversify your income in the long term play of things here. So Ray, welcome to our stream here this morning.
Thank you. So yeah, Josh invited me to come on here. And for all you other guys that are listening, Josh has known me a long time, and it's like you just said. I heard you guys talk about economy and how it's tough right now. I don't know if you guys are talking about Canadian or U.S., but you guys got to remember this. Money comes and goes. Quick revenue comes and goes. You guys got a hot idea and you're making money with it. That's awesome. I mean, hats off to you guys. But you got to remember, and Josh knows this, you have to diversify with your money a little bit, because if you put all your eggs in one basket and something changes, you're going to be hurt more than you should be hurt.
Yeah, I know that's true. That's absolutely true. Because like a lot of times, when we have cash flow coming in, we don't really realize how long is that going to last. And one thing I've been looking into is like, okay, maybe now this may seem like a distant idea, but like sometimes, when we have these ideas, like, okay, we're gonna head into like pre-constructions, or we're gonna try to get like any rental properties. The whole idea is to like stay in the game for about 10 years, 15 years. But I think at the same time, when people see great success of people, they don't understand it took them that time, 20 years, 25 years. They think that it's like overnight process that eventually happens, but normally it takes a long time. So Ray, let me ask you this: what took you to get into the real estate game here?
Well, I was, I have this whole story online as well, but for me, I was in college, and, I had to work, I had to pay for my own college, and I was in Pittsburgh away from home, and I decided one day, I was a junior in college, I just literally packed my car up, and I drove home, and I knew I wanted to do something else besides be a bookworm. So I literally drove home almost 5 hours, and I got here. I had a lot of people my parents were upset with me. Family was upset with me, and, and that's fine. But what I did was I just wrote down what I wanted to do, and I tried to stick to that goal and plan. And my initial goal back in 1997.
Oh wow.
You know, a lot of you guys that you see me on social media, I look like I'm probably, what do you think, late 30s, Josh, probably?
Late 20s,
you know,
I'd say.
Yeah, I'm actually about 40. But, you know, 1997, I set those goals, and I knew I wanted to build a rental portfolio because, you know, I got into sales, and sales was great. I made a lot of money in sales, but then I was like, okay, what do I do with this money now? And so I made this big, quick amount of money in sales, and then I'm like, okay, well, now what do I do with it? You know, because if I put it in the market, I tried that and I lost money or didn't make me much. And then I was like, okay, what else? New, like seeing, like, as a younger guy and seeing all the older guys at the gym and, you know, and seeing them out at restaurants and et cetera, and studying them and understanding how they got where they got. Like, that's what I had to do. I had to study how these people that got well off, how did they do it? Because I knew they did sales here or they worked for a company there. How are they able to set themselves free from that daily income and that daily hustle that they had to be able to take off their plate and say, how can I live without having this big amount of income coming in still and support all the bills? So when I started talking to these guys and understanding what they were doing, you know, one of the guys was Mr. Billet. I remember him because he had his own real estate office at one time. It all came down to rentals. These guys just had a lot of rentals. And when I say a lot, I mean, to me back then, that was a lot. You know, they had 50 or 60 or 70 rentals. You know, that's a lot when I was starting out. You know, as of the day, I have over 300 rentals that I bought, renovated, and rent myself and manage in my own office. I could use a management company, but I hired a property manager that does it for me. So I just studied the elderly people and figured out how they did what they did and how can I do it better, you know? And so I continued doing sales. I continued, you know, doing, buying up rentals. And here's the crazy part. As you guys know, we had a big real estate crash, just like you guys were talking about when I hopped on about this market's a little weird and we're going to have a crash again. We are going to have a crash. It won't be like the 08 crash or 09 or whatever year it was. You know, it won't be as bad as that. However, you do have to prepare for it because I can remember when I was running my sales business back in 06, deals were flying off the shelf. We were selling, making so much money. And then all of a sudden it was like the music stopped and the sales stopped, you know, because what was the driving factor behind that? Well, lenders wouldn't lend anymore. You know, title companies wouldn't, you know, participate with certain kind of lending situations. I mean, there were so many things that stopped us and having our ability to, because it wasn't all in my control. So as the market started to come to a halt, I was lucky. That was right around 08, 09. I had all my rental properties that literally I just bought all of those new properties after the crash. Okay. So I had rentals from like 2000 and I sold them all in 2006, 7. I only had them for like 6 or 7 years. When we came out of that big burst of sales, I had no rentals left. I sold them all.
Oh, wow, man. That's
Josh, you know this. Josh, you know this. I rebought all my rentals in 08, 09, 2010, 2011, and 2012. And then I stopped buying again, and I rented all those properties. And fast forward till today's market right now, which is hot again, just as hot as 06, I have sold off millions of dollars worth of rentals already because it's demanding such a high number. So, like, I wouldn't go out and buy rentals right now unless you get a really good deal because the numbers are so high. But when this market adjusts, I'd say save your cash and go out. Even if you only get 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 rentals, it doesn't matter. You made a change into something different to park your money that's safe. It's insured. You know, if it it catches fire, you're getting a big fat insurance check. If a tenant doesn't pay, you know, you're going to kick them out and start over and get another tenant. You know, you're going to build a long-term income with depreciating asset there that you can write off in your returns. And, and change the mentality of that short-term money to long-term money. Now you're going to say, why'd you sell off so many rentals? Well, again, when the market's so hot as it is, all I did was sell off the rentals I didn't want anymore. Okay. I had a lot of rentals. Josh, I think you knew this. I had a lot of rentals in the city.
Yeah, I remember.
I sold a lot of those off because I honestly, like, for me, I got top dollar, number one. Okay. And it's not like it's A grade property. It's the city, which are great money makers because you can buy them cheap and you can resell them. But for me, it made sense to sell those off. I kept all my other complexes in other towns around the city, like all the school districts that I like. I kept all those, and I'll keep those for 20 more years, But the ones that I didn't like and love, I went ahead and I put those up for sale, and I literally got top dollar. Something you guys may not know about me, and Josh, I think you do. Back in September of 2018, I got shot. I don't know if you guys all knew that or not.
Oh.
And I was out of work for almost a year. I wasn't able to get out of bed. I wasn't able to do anything except for go to doctors. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and then I was in rehab for another 2 months after that. So I wasn't able to work or do anything except for phone calls. So what helped me in that situation, because let's face it, all of you guys on here are hustlers. I know Josh is a true hustler. I watch all his stuff. That guy gets up, he grinds out every single day and goes hard at it, right? But you guys got to ask yourself, something happens to you physically, what are you going to do to keep that stream of income coming? Because no one's going to run your business like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you have a family, so that's a scary thought to begin with.
Ray, you mind me asking where you're from?
Commission. What's that?
You mind me asking where you're from?
York, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. I'm over in Jersey.
Yeah, what part of Jersey?
I'm in Long Branch.
Okay. Yeah, I have a home in Cape May as well, which is for a little further away from you, obviously. But I do the Jersey Shore at summertime, and I'm back in PA during the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it gets hot.
Let me ask you this, Ray. Now, getting the first rental is a scary process, So when I think about having a 10, 12, or even 15, I start thinking about, am I going to trust the people living in those rentals? Because in the last rental we were living in, so we were renting before we bought a home. Our landlord used to tell me that, oh man, I have 3 more rentals and the tenants are this. It's a pain in the ass going here, going there. And I thought to myself, man, that's a lot of work over there. So is that like you have like managing companies that are managing all these rentals, or are they taking cuts off of the?
Yes, you can hire a property management company, and they'll do it for anywhere from a flat fee per month to up to a 5% fee. The thing is, and rentals may not be for everybody. If it's not for everybody, find something else, to get into that can generate a stream of income outside of your hustle. Okay, because again, you put all your eggs in one basket and something happens, you're going to get hurt. That's the thing. I mean, during COVID-19, did I get hurt? No, I made more money in COVID-19 shutdown than probably ever because, because I still was doing sales. I bought a 10-pack of homes over by the hospital that I redeveloped all 10 of them right during COVID. I resold them all. And during COVID, and, I had a lot of rentals that didn't pay rent. I mean, I was a pretty heavy delinquency amount coming out of COVID because people didn't have their jobs, right? But they were long-term tenants. So I worked with them and they all caught up and paid and, and we worked it out with them because the bottom line is whether it came in that month or it came in 3 months from there, it's still money that came in. So, you have to figure out what other item in your sphere of abilities can you do, to generate another stream of income, so that's what you have to look at. I mean, Josh, you already knows I have a Bitcoin mining, facility. Did you know that, Josh?
Yep, I'm aware.
Yeah. So why did I do that? I didn't really need to do that. So I got a bunch of ant miners, or I don't know what the machines are called. I had a guy come in, tech guy, set them all up, get them all running. But I did that. Why did I do that? Well, I did that because I was like, okay, why not try it? I don't know nothing about it. Obviously I don't know a whole lot about it. The only reason I got into it was I had a couple properties that I sold to a guy that paid me in full with crypto. He didn't even want to write me a check. He's like, look, I just want to pay you in crypto for the entire transaction. I said, okay, that's fine. I'll do it. So that's how I decided, okay, I'm going to dip into this. A guy bought a couple properties off me and I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try this. And then I got the machines and I was like, okay. So, the thing is, you guys got to try different things. Don't be afraid to step out of your envelope of comfort and try other things and get more diversified, because diversification is what saves the day every time.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like the way how these live streams have started was because we saw a gap in the industry that, okay, there were people like trying to sell a course and do this and do that. So we're like, okay, what, if we're good, why not just host a live stream where everyone can come on and learn at the same time, and I guess the main reason was, now before I was doing this, I was in door-to-door sales. I did sales. We had a 50-man team. This is like 4 years ago, and I had all this free time between my sales. Like when the guys went out to the turf, we were sitting in the office, and I had time from like 12 p.m. till 5 p.m. So during that time, I saw this new trading thing. I'm like, okay, let me try if it works or not. I tried for the first month, 2 months, started to work out, and now 4 years later, it's been paid off really, really well. So now most of us are coming into a crossroads where now we have a lot of time and the cash inflow, and now we're looking at to say, okay, let's try to diversify our things, so it's really good to have you here today.
Rentals are a good way to do it. My thing I will tell you guys all about is, if you're doing rentals, you really should do your homework or have a professional really help you understand the value of where it's at now versus where it could be. I have a course. I think you guys already know that. I teach in that course how to justify and evaluate a property thoroughly. So, one of the key factors in that process is evaluate where the property came from and where it's at now. How much was it sold for before? What was the condition like before? What are the comps in the area compatible to current market versus market 10 years ago? Because here's the thing. You got to make sure you don't buy something for too much money, right? And then the market crashes and then you lose 50 grand on the deal, then that wasn't worth your time. So you got to make good moves, smart moves with this. You got to play your cards right and understand what you're buying and do your homework thoroughly before you step into a project. So I heard there's a couple of Canadians on here. How's it up in Canada? Is it decent or not really?
It's all right. I'd say it's not that saturated, so it's pretty expensive. Like for in Washington, Josh told me that you can get like fixer uppers for about like 80,000, 90,000, 150,000. In Canada, same thing. It's going to be like 200,000, 300,000. So it takes a lot of willpower. You can sell
for a lot more too.
Oh yeah,
so you can sell for a lot more too. I have guys that I work with me that are from Texas and California and upstate New York, and I have some from the Jersey Shore, not far from where the Lewis Delaware ferry is. So yeah, that's the other thing we didn't talk about. Like if you guys are having a great stream of income, you don't want to deal with rentals, you want to do long term, find that one deal, renovate it, resell it, work your numbers in a reverse, make sure you're gonna have a good deal there, and turn some more of the profit. I did 3 deals yesterday that I can tell you this, I didn't do less than 50 grand a deal. Now, how did I get that? Well, I marketed properly. I got the deals. I sold them properly. Right. And then on top of that, I knew what I was buying. I knew what I was getting myself into. So when you get when you lay all that out and spread it all out and understand the numbers, the whole deal made sense. 100%. Because, when you can take, even if you guys were to buy something and not fix it up and just wholesale it. And Josh, you've done that before, I'm sure. You buy something, tie it up, resell it. Even if you make 10 or 20 grand, something like that, move on to the next one. There's other ways to generate streams of income. You just got to figure out how you want to do it. I'm no expert when it comes to anything but real estate. When it comes to real estate, I've gotten this thing down pretty good front to back. But it's, you guys have to understand, what's everyone doing here? I know, Josh, you're still doing the ATMs, right, Josh?
Yeah, actually the host of the stream is my trading mentor, and then like we come in here and we trade together and we do trading ideas, and he has a course that I took that really opened my eyes with this. So it's similar to like the course that you do for real estate.
Right. Everyone in here does what you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all ATM stuff?
No. This is all trading. No.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, imagine we had a big ATM cult here. Oh,
Imagine. We all said
Yeah, but like Josh is a hustler. I mean, you said your mentor's on there. Josh is a worker. I mean, I watch his stuff, and and I observe a lot of people around me. I brought a young veteran in, 24-year-old veteran that didn't know anything. I'm training him right now to work directly right hand with me. Young guy. I can just tell he needed help. He was out of the military. And I'm putting him to work because he listens. He wants to be a sponge. He wants to absorb. That's what Josh is like. Josh absorbs everything he possibly can and learns to be able to grow. I've watched him grow over the last 10 years. I've watched Josh go from high roll back down to broke and back up to high roll. Do you want to know how he did that? He hustled.
I appreciate the kind words, bro.
He worked.
Go back to the interview about me. You got like 4,000 people that just keep doing.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you have to have respect. I got you, but you gotta have respect for people that can break that mold, guys. I mean, you guys have to understand. You respect people that know how to break that mold. I have other friends, the same thing. They went from a big contracting company that went belly up in 07, 08. And then they did nothing until like 2012, and they got back up and back on top. I mean, that's the thing. You have to learn to adapt and get better at what you do and get yourself back on top. It's not going to be given to you. No one's going to give you the top fucking spot on the pyramid. No one's going to give it to you. You have to climb that wall.
Yeah, the main thing that really helped me was to put myself out there in social media, basically, because I understood that, like, from a sales background, I understood that the more I put myself out there, the more people get to see me, get to hear me, get to know my name, the more they'll be willing to do business with me. And I think that's what most people don't do nowadays, is because now we've created this culture where we're like, oh no, if you're gonna stand out, maybe someone's gonna say, oh, what's this guy doing? Who is he? What do you think he is? But if you don't do that, you're not gonna understand, like, what are the opportunities you have. Like right here, I reached out to Josh. I'm like, hey, listen, I've been following Ray for a little while, and I've been interested in properties and stuff. And he's like, hey, listen, man, I can have him on the stream, no problem. So I was like, okay, that's perfect. So, like, most people, if they try to put themselves out there, they will really, we all start with a plan. And I tell guys, hey, listen, no matter what kind of plan you have for life is going to have its own plan for you. And you have to adjust your plans around that.
But get the training before you jump into stuff. Just like Josh got training from you guys or from whoever to get learning. He learned your course.
Yeah.
Or he learns from it. Same thing. Everyone's got to learn from somebody that knows what they're doing. You just got to get in there and ask, my program, I sell all across U.S. I even have 2 overseas people in my program, and my program teaches everyone from start to finish how to do everything that I do. I literally took the entire items that I do daily, every single day for the last 20 years and put it into a program. So it takes all the mistakes out and teaches everyone how to flip real estate with either little to no money. Bad credit doesn't matter. Tax returns don't matter. I lay it all out for you. You can literally flip real estate with very little money to no money, or you can wholesale real estate with $0 except for some time and paper, and then I also have a bonus in there about talking about rental portfolio and, and how to build those as well, and the proper things to do and don't. So, my program, as you guys saw it, it's on there. It's on flippingmasterminds.com, and you go /webinar. It'll show you a preview of it, but it's cheap, it's affordable, it's less than $1,500, and I teach a lot of people how to do what I do, educating them properly, step by step, from the very start to the whole way to the end.
Okay, so I see this here. I have your website pulled up. I'm not sure if you can see the screen or not. Okay, so we see at 1471, that one right there. Mastering the Art of the Flip 2.0.
Yep. So that would teach anyone that wants to do another stream of income, whether you're looking to flip 2 or 3 or 5 homes or 100 homes a year. The formula in my program teaches you how to do all of this, all of it. I mean, from identifying and finding properties the whole way to the sale point. It teaches you everything. So a lot of guys I know say, "Oh, I can do it on my own. You know, I can figure it out myself." Why? Why would you want to reinvent the wheel? Take someone's success pattern and formula, right, and use their map. It'll make it a lot easier for you. And, you know, and then take that formula and work it properly. Because what I have in my course is the best way to buy deals without going through the typical general channels that you aren't going to get a good deal from. So you're going to get better deals using my program because I tell you where to go, what to do. You're also going to be taught in that what to look for when you're looking at the properties. I break down everything step by step. Literally, like I've had students. I've got a guy that's on house arrest for a whole year in Texas. Okay, him and I talk. I mentor him. He's got a crony that's running around for him. That's what he calls my crony. He runs around for him and does all this stuff. The guy's already made over 6 figures in the first 90 days with me because I showed him what to do, how to do it, and what he's supposed to send this guy out to do. So he's been the guy that's sitting at the computer while this other guy's his foot guy, and he's in Texas. I mean, now he's doing a little bit of traveling, 2 hours from his home in a circle. But the bottom line is it gave him all the tools on how to find the deals, what to do, how to do it, and break it all down. I mean, that's my newest guy that's pretty good. I have another guy that's a veteran, 31-year-old veteran, who made $50,000 his first 30 days with me. How did he do that? Well, he came in. Actually, he lives about 3 hours away from me. I said, look, come on in, because I respect our veterans. I told him to come on in. I want to sit down with him. I gave him some pointers. He signed up for my program. And bottom line is the first 30 days he did a deal, not far from where he lives, that he broke $50,000 on. One deal. So, yeah. And how did he find that deal? Using the tools in the program. That's the thing. Finding the deals is the tough part, right? That's the hard part. So you got to know how to find them. So I teach all that in the program, everything step by step to explain it to you so you understand it. So
I have a question for you. What kind of property was your first investment, and how much money you had at that time, back in the days, your first one?
Okay. 1997, I had $0. And I bought my first 2-unit, which I sold after owning it for 10 years. I bought my first 2-unit for $62,000 on Mount Rose Avenue. Josh will know where that's at because he used to be in York. So I was on Mount Rose Avenue. I bought it for $62,000. I sold it in 2007 for $185,000 minus 3% seller's help. So what that means is I gave some seller's assistance to the buyer. So I had it for 10 years. It was a 2-unit, and I rented it out for the entire time. I did go through a couple tenants, nothing crazy, and re-rented it every time. But that was my first property that I actually bought, and I held that for 10 years.
So with $0, finance 100%, right?
Well, what I did was I went to the owner. I talk about this in the program as well, but there's so many things you could do. There's fix and flip funding out there that do 100% of purchase and rehab. Back then, there was no program. So I went ahead and found somebody that would hold the money for me because I'm a college student with no money, right? How did I do that? Well, I found somebody that would hold the money for me. I got the property, and then I worked it where I got them to give me a decent rate. I bought the property using their money, okay? A lot of people out there have no way of making a return on their investment. So I found this couple that helped me get this and fund this money, right? I used their money. I bought it. I held it I held that loan with them for about a year. After that, I had about a year's worth of tax returns of me doing sales. I was able to go to the bank and refi them out. Paid them back in full, and then I didn't have a loan with them anymore. And of course, they wanted to do more of them, which I did back then because it was nice to be able to do that because banks will refi real easy versus a new purchase. It's a totally different game. New purchase versus refi is a lot easier. A lot easier, streamlined compared to a new purchase.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. So Ray, for people wondering, so the best way to get in touch with you is going to be through the course over here.
The best way would be to, go right to the flippingmasterminds.com/webinar. I mean, if people have questions, they're more than welcome to text me. Prefer text first on my cell phone, and then I give everyone the time of day. So I respect everybody's time and wishes. So if someone has a lot of questions, I mean, I take the time to answer them because it's important for someone to really understand what they're trying to accomplish. And if they don't understand it and they jump into it, I don't want them doing that. I'd rather them ask me the questions before they make a move. They can also go to my Instagram. But they can text me direct. I don't care. I'd be more than glad to talk to anybody. I love hearing the different stories. I love hearing the successes, the failures, the regrowths. I hear it all. So.
Yeah, man, you're gonna get a lot of text come in here soon, because we got 2,300 people on YouTube over here. We got around 360 here in the Zoom. So, yeah, we got a pretty big room here today.
So, if you want me, I can save my cell phone number on there. That way, if you want to have them, I can share it. I don't mind. Just tell them respect and just give me a text first because my phone doesn't stop ringing.
Yeah.
And then if they text me, I will pick the phone up and call them.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to get it out there. We have your contact information here, though. We have your Instagram here. Obviously, Grant Cardone follows you, too. Okay, awesome.
I was on Power Players and Ask the Pro with Grant. Grant and I did a Power Players interview. You can go on YouTube and type in Grant Cardone and Ray Abood.
Yeah, nice, man. Awesome. Well, I'm not going to take much of your time. I really appreciate you took the time of your day here in the morning and come here and talk to us for a little while, even though this was like outside of the real estate game, but we're trying to get into it. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
It's easy. Anyone can do it. You just got to have the proper tools and you have to have some guidance before you jump into this stuff, because you're playing big business. You got to make sure you're doing the right things at the right time. So, but I respect everyone's hustle and everyone want to try and get ahead, and I appreciate your time on here today. And I appreciate Josh inviting me on. I have a lot of respect for Josh. I mean, he's an amazing guy, and I appreciate your guys' time as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for coming, Ray.
Very useful. Useful.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You got it, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good day. Thanks, Josh, for making that happen.
No problem, sir.
Thank you, Josh.
Josh is the man.
Try to hold my weight in the Zoom, do what I can.
You putting it down, though. Huh.
Oh, we got Alex over here, too. All right. Welcome, Alex.
Guys, good morning to you. Can you hear me well, everybody?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Oh, good morning. How you doing, guys?
Good morning.
Good. We're doing great.
I've been watching that stuff recently a lot more, actually, Raj, and I'm quite impressed, to be honest, man. I love the spirit of what you guys are doing, the realness, the hustle, the process, I guess, and that's it's just how shit is real,
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Like one main reason why we started these live streams was because when I first started, right, I want to like contact guys and hey man, like ask them questions and stuff, and their only response would always be, well, you have to sign up to this course or you have to do this first. I was like, well, it makes no sense. It's a simple question. So then we started these live streams in a way to say that, okay, maybe there's someone out there who can't afford a certain course and they can probably like learn here, get some advice over here. So yeah, that was the whole idea behind these.
I think also, I mean, there's so much misconception out there about what it is to be a trader, or how the reality of trading, is not only, I don't know, like flashy Lamborghini and Insta stories.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of sympathy for that thinking here. Maybe let me introduce myself for a second. So my name is Alex Duadari. I trade my own cash. I've been doing that for years and years by now, and all sorts of different types of strategies. I used to work for a German private investment bank. Actually, I worked my way up there from an intern to building their whole Forex operation. And then I moved over to the asset management side. And managed other people's money. And then, yeah, my wife had our first child, and then I went all private, I guess. And now I'm getting out of my cave again a bit, you know, and I'm seeing like it's crazy what happened. In the meanwhile, all this social media blew up in a way that is so. I mean, I didn't think I was that old, you know, to miss that trade like that.
Yeah, the world changed, you know, all of a sudden.
It's crazy, man, for good and for bad, I suppose. But you got to make your pick, right? I mean, it's that's kind of the thing that I want to also like push out here. That don't believe the stuff you see and you're basically all out there, but really you got to do something. You don't do it, you don't learn the craft, you don't enjoy it, you don't have love for the game, you know, you're never going to be a good guy in that game. It's just end of story, you know. I mean, I guess that's the reality of things. And I think people lost touch with, you know, enjoying to really put effort into something. Everything's supposed to come easy. And people wonder why they're just jumping superficially from one thing to the next and never go in depth into anything. You know, not everybody can be a scalper like you guys are doing it, you know, but I love also the structure. You guys wake up early. It's like very, you know, structured and there's a time of a day for something, do one trade, two trades. That's kind of it. Discipline, you know, you come with a goal, with a target. Everything's really set. So you know what the hell you're doing, you know, and a lot of people just don't have a clue, chase one promise after the next from, you know, the one flashy guy to the next, I guess. And until they notice, damn, it doesn't work like that. So no, what I've been doing now recently, I just barely started about 8 weeks or 2 months in, is to really mentor people on their path to become traders, you know. And it's kind of the way that I went through types of strategies that you can trade out there, right? And many people, as you said, the only help they can get is some trading education from their brokerage, which, you know, is not necessarily there to educate people, but to give them reasons to click, you know. And no hate, you know. I mean, I can't blame them. They run a brokerage business, not an educational support center, you know. But you got to see things for what they really are, I think. And that's where a lot of people fail to be honest with themselves, with their, you know, real intent. Also, you want to have something, you got to go get it, you got to do something for it. And obviously the more structured you are in your approach to get there, the higher the chance you can make it. And if you look at the guys, I mean, since you guys are from overseas, I mean, the Michael Jordans, the LeBron James, those kind of people, they've been admired and rich as fuck for how many years, and they're still working on their craft every single day, and they show up for the training, you know. They don't care about the fame, the money, but they're actually the best in what they do because they love doing what they do. And that's kind of the thing that I really want to implant into people's minds, to you know, find something in their trading or a niche in trading that really makes them, you know, sparkle in their eyes. You know, this is what I see here when I watched a couple of your live streams, and like, you guys really enjoy what you're doing, you know. And I literally picked up that energy and I enjoyed it a lot, you know, seriously. And thank you for having me also, just to mention that.
Yeah, no problem. But who cut you off in the start? I didn't really enjoy it because I was in a deep drawdown, you know, and every morning I'd wake up and say, all right, time to take another loss today. But like once I really understood that this is a process, it's not about, like, you know, making money all the time. It's about understanding exactly why certain things are happening, right? 100%. Because let's say that if we do break this resistance at 140, 200 and price moves up, all right, and someone takes a buy and price then starts to move down. 3 years ago, I would probably do like, okay, close buy, take sell. Sell doesn't work out, close sell, take buy. But now I think I've trained my mind enough to see that, okay, if price is going to go against me, I have to step back and ask myself, okay, why? Why is this happening? What's the reason this is happening? And I think it's really important for new traders who come on as well.
100%, you know, and this is where I really, you know, where I see my job. My job is not to teach people a certain trading strategy. Like maybe you are definitely having a certain type of trading strategy, but I want to support people along the path to really make those self-realization processes, to become the kind of person they need to be to trade whatever they choose that works with them. You know, like you said, we have all these personality traits. Most of the time, we don't necessarily know what we're good at, what we're bad with, you know, and so that's also a self-discovery process. Yeah. Especially if you trade manually, you can't really separate yourself from your trading, you know, and it's very, very difficult. So what do you do then? What do you do is you got to understand yourself more. What pushes your buttons? Why are you reacting in which way, in which situations, so that you can find the patterns that are holding you back doing what you actually want to do. And maybe you got to, it really depends. Not everybody is made for being a positions trader or a swing trader, and others are not made for being scalpers. But, find out what you are, because to bring that example of Albert Einstein, you can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, and the fish will think it's stupid all its life while it can breathe underwater. It just can't climb a tree, but still has a special power, right? And we don't really put effort into finding out what we're good at. And, if you don't approach trading from a very structured place, you're lost. There's so much predators out there, and you are bait and prey for this industry out there, and so you got to step up your game, and it's so important. As you do that, you grow as a person. I mean, you tell me, since you've become like more successful and more consistent with what you're doing, didn't that have spillover effects for rest of areas in your life as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I view trading in a very linear way. If it's going to be up, it's going to be up. If it's going to be down, it's going to be down. There's no middle path. So now when I make decisions in my regular life, it's either a solid yes or a solid no. There are no more maybes or what ifs.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I'm from Germany. Maybe I should have said that. In German, you say you can't be half pregnant. You can try to, but it's not going to work out,
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing. So I really help people find out, develop their own trading strategy in a way, and find out, whether what they're trying to do works, what they're missing, keep them on track, bring them back, and all these elements that are relevant for trading, whether it's psychology and mindset, even though I don't like to put those at the beginning, because people love to use them as excuses. My mom left me in a room and I was 2 years old and now I can't scalp anymore. And, these kind of stuff that does make sense when you think about it, but it's, so have a structured process. You need to also, you guys, you journal what you do, you write down what you do, right? Mm-hmm. And you review what you've done, obviously. And look, like the biggest growing companies in this world, the last 10 years are all data companies. Like, why do you think that's the case? Because there's so much more data and you can learn from data, but you got to use it. So you got to create it. You bullshit yourself in your journaling process. You get what you tolerate, right? I mean, that's also something I like to say all the time. So yeah, we're really helping to people on their path to find what it is in their trading that they want to achieve. Actually, I have even one of my students he joins your streams, and he was telling me about you. I said, hey, I'm going to on the guy's streries, and
I'm going to be there. Yeah,
quite funny. Yeah, I didn't think actually that I had one of you guys also, one of my students, but I really love that. Like I'm also like I have. I'm building like more and more friendships with really people that are taking their craft seriously. And I think we want to put that out. This is the real value. Like I said, it's a process. You don't arrive in the promised land of being a trader and then you just relax into it. No, you got to see it like, like a Michael Jordan, like a LeBron James, and then you just at it, you keep at it, you enjoy doing it. You find what works for you. You take your niche in whatever in this trading universe, and then you just go out and own it and do it. And I feel that there's this, for me, is the sense of achieving something, being proud of yourself with real, legit work. I mean, that's a great liberating feeling. Damn. I mean, and I mean, you recently became a dad. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that, but that's what you want to leave. Like legacy kind of stuff to your kids. So it's not about the cash per se at all. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I know, that's awesome. I want to talk about something you mentioned in the beginning, that you're working in Germany and you built an entire Forex platform. Was that like for like a brokerage or more of an institutional level?
Well, that was I back up a little bit. I was a musician. That's a long time ago. I made some cash and music, and I put it into FX trading. Actually, I gave it to someone to manage for me that got introduced to me through Skype at the time. That's how old I am, and And he literally like took out my whole account first day. I lost everything. And then, you know, he texted me the next day, said, I had a bicycle accident. I'm sorry, you know, and he sent me some loosely MT4 statements, said, look, my other clients, they're all doing well. Anyway, so I got money from my parents at the time and I lost it on top. They cashed in their retirement fund and I lost everything on top, you know, because I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. Sorry for cursing. I'm not sure, but they're all grown-ups. I mean, you look like
yeah, it's okay.
So I had no way back really. And like Tony Robbins says, you want to conquer the island, you got to burn the boats, right? I mean, if you have a way to retreat, then things, you know, it's easier to find reasons why you can't push forward. And so what happened then is started as an intern at this private bank, and they were more into equities, options, like this standard type of classical business. And I said, like, what about Forex, you guys? Why you don't have something? And I literally worked my way up there. I got a good relationship with back at the time, I would say, with my first mentor, the director of the bank. And he just told me, okay, here, show me what you can do. Gave me a couple of weeks, gave me a little bit of resources. And then I started that. I was literally everything. I was sales, I was technology, I was cooking coffee, like everything, you know. And this is how I really understood the whole thing. Like, okay, where does the liquidity come from? What is the technology that you need to use? How are trades settled, cleared, executed? What are the, you know, all the building blocks of how the Forex industry actually works? And so that really helped me also to build relationships with the clients that we then had. And I noticed there's only very few that were actually making money, and most of them were not. So I went to those guys and said, hey, I'd really like to know what you guys are doing. Can you help me out? And because I was such a, let's just say, ambitious guy in the work relationship, they actually liked me, and that played out well. So they started to teach me like what they were doing. And actually what they taught me was a lot more structure than like the secret trading strategy, you know. And after all, I changed my strategies over times many times. Like I don't trade the same thing all the time. You guys are you know, very special in what you're doing here, that you're really focusing on something very specific. Like what I did also, I worked a lot with other traders and fund managers, and really, you know, build algorithms, and I do all of this stuff even today. And but that's how I got the whole Forex thing and into the Forex thing. And I even today, then I enjoy doing it a lot, to be honest. You know, this sense of this freedom, the self-direction type of thing, that the promise of being, you know, independent, that part is real, by the way. I mean, that's definitely what I think works out. But it's something, you know, sometimes people tell me I want to trade because I don't want to work anymore. It's just like, dude, what do you think this is?
It doesn't work like that.
You know, but yeah, that's kind of the short version of the story. And I'm like, my commitment is really to help people develop themselves. This is what I'm here for. This is my job. My job is not to sell a specific trading strategy, but to help people find their own trading strategy or whatever they really, really work with. Be honest with themselves in the process, bring them back on track as they go off track. You know, we all go off tracks at times. I have people that bring me on track also, you know. And this is how you really work yourself and stay on really becoming good with something specific. You become an expert by doing something again and again and again and again, understanding what you're doing good, understanding what you're not doing good, make more of this good part and less of that's not, you know, understand your weaknesses better, your strengths better, and work with all of that. You know, that's kind of the secret, the way I see it, at least.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, the approach we took here was to focus on how you can stop the bleeding, right? Because bleeding means like when you start trading, like, you know, the first thing you want to know is that, okay, like, you know, I'm going to start trading, I'm going to make a lot of money, I'm going to retire my parents, I'm going to do this, do that. You have all sorts of dreams, and having dreams is awesome, but not all dreams come true. You know, it doesn't mean your dreams are come true. So the first approach we took was that, okay, let's focus on how to reduce risk, how to make sure you stop losing less. Because once you can control, you can stop losing less, wins are going to come later on. Because there's no formula to increase your wins, but you can really reduce your losses first.
Couldn't agree more. It's what I tell people also when they tell me about how they get judged for trying to be a trader, and people tell them this is all, you know, a gamble and stuff like that, which I don't necessarily disagree if you don't have a plan of what you're doing. But the very big difference between trading and gambling is you can really use, odds and data to your advantage. And actually, you always place a trade to reduce your risk. Like, what is the point of a high probability setup? It's not to increase your profits, it's to reduce your risk as you enter, right? And so I couldn't agree more with that from going from reducing risk is the path to making profit, actually. And the other way around, you're just in a way chasing something that puts you in a position where you want to take risks without understanding exactly what you're doing there. And definitely I disagree with that a lot. You need to understand your risk management first of all, and you need to reduce your exposure to risk as the very first step. Have also, when you start to trade, okay, if the trade goes in my direction, what am I going to do at this level? What am I going to do at that level? If the trade goes against me, how do I plan that before? Really try to put effort into your planning so that you are not less lost in the process. It sounds a lot more static than it is, because as time progresses, your real-time decision-making capability just increases, right? And I love, by the way, this magic key thing. I ordered one as well.
Oh, really?
Quick. Yeah, man. Yeah, I got to test it myself.
Man, you should have told me. I would have sent you one just like that. I'm going to find it.
Come on,
yeah.
I know, man. Support, it's fine. I'll pay for that. It's good. But I love that, that because that is basically the definition of real-time decision making improved. So that's why you need a hotkey now.
yeah. We saw Bloomberg having a terminal, and I started to think like that. Man, why can't we have something like this for Forex? Right. So then the idea came, and I found someone online, and we started working on it, and then we launched it in February of this year.
I love the idea, because especially in what you guys are doing, it's just easier. I mean, why would you want to, right click whatever if you just can have one click and like one push of a button? Obviously, I mean, makes a difference. Like, I'm not saying you need it necessarily, but it's very helpful to have, obviously.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to ask you.
Sure.
Now,
go ahead.
Now you've been related with the brokerage industry, right? And what we're seeing is now that the regulators are chopping down on the leverage. Why do you think is it because we have too many shady brokerages open that they want to protect people?
I'm not so sure if it's the shady part per se. It's because leverage is simply not good for unexperienced people, because look, I mean, just pretend you have no clue what you do. You open your account, you deposit your $500, and then you trade one lot. Obviously, one lot's one unit. You would never think one lot means actually 100,000 in equal value,
Yeah.
So here you are with your $1,000 account with 100 positions. So you already 1 to 100 leverage with a single trade without even knowing about it, And then there's the spread and all these little plays that brokerages know from a technology standpoint to do. And that just burns people's money a lot faster. I think that is the reason. And also because over time, more and more people complained about it. But, especially in the US, I think, they shut down the Forex industry there quite early with this Dodd-Frank thing. But, they made it up in the options side. So you just have all the risk now, all the Robin Hooders on the options side, and they're doing the same shit basically. So no, that's why I think brokerages, there's a lot of playing around. And one thing you should 100% know, brokerages make their money from their clients losing. End of story. And you shouldn't hate them for that. And it's not a rigged game per se. Because of that, it's the reality of things. If every little trade, every retail trader would need to go to a market for execution, it would be slower, you would have more slippage, it would cost more. And that was my problem. In the beginning, when we wanted to clear 10K tickets, 0.1 lots, they would tell us, well, the ticket cost at the clearinghouse is the same, whether you execute 1,000 lots or 0.1 lots. So here you had a problem from an execution side saying, if I execute all my little clients, in reality, I'm going to be paying more than I'm ever able to recoup from those clients, And so I think that this whole B-book game is really is being pushed very heavily. Brokers are making millions and millions from people losing. So, but like I said, I think it's the wrong approach. I want to focus on things I can change. I don't want to put my focus on things I cannot change. I think there's a big helpful way of going through life. So I can't change brokers doing that. But what I can change is, the education we put out there for people know what they really should pay attention to, And So yes, I think, and I'm like you. I think also because I am more experienced, I like leverage because I need to deposit less money at the broker to have the same kind of moving the money. So I don't have a problem with that. But as you are the opposite, you don't know what you're doing. It just draws cash from so many people's pockets so quickly. So and more, people. Complaining about it, I guess, also. So that's why you see that. And but I think the whole brokerage game, if you compare it to like 15 years ago or something, it's gotten much better. Like really back at the time, I remember that I had this one broker in Panama. Like those guys, they just disappeared with everyone's deposit overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the kind of game that you had to face. Like finally, I can trade now, and then fuck, my money's gone. The broker took it. So there's also one thing I want to make people understand, that even when you are at the point where you understand how your trading works, there will be other challenges now that you got to take care of. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't end. When you think you can reach a something you can relax into, it's a misconception. It's just not the reality of life. So you should love that process. You should love getting in the ring and fight, in a way. If you don't love doing that, then by all means, like if I have a student who says, you know what, I thought trading would be easier, I don't think I want to do this anymore, then I think also I reached my job.
Yeah, that's true. Like we said, trading is the hardest way to make easy money.
100%. What I say is like trading is super simple, but it's absolutely not easy, and that's kind of the same thing, it's like the mechanics of what you do, they're not rocket science. You don't have 1,000 million parameters to pay attention to, but just putting them into the right order and not getting tricked by your own mind doing that, that's kind of a huge challenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Man.
So Alex, what do you...
Yeah, tell me.
Alex, what do you mostly focus on right now, since it seems like you don't trade Forex anymore? You're more on the equity side.
Well, it's a mix of everything. I do trade FX as well. I have a lot of the FX I do is algorithmic, because simply what I notice when you go into like very quick type of trading, the algorithm is just faster than you are, and it's just more accurate. And you also you don't use MT4 and stuff like that. You can use different order types. When you use a fixed API, you can use IOC orders, which means instant or cancel. You can define the maximum slippage you accept to take. You can define the time and force, like meaning basically you can say, I want to trade this price within the next 200 milliseconds with a maximum slippage of 0.02. And if I don't, you reject my trade. You just have a lot more flexibility and control over what you're doing and that kind of setup. So that's more on the FX algorithmic side. I do also have manual stuff. Like I traded silver this year. That was a beautiful trade, simple breakout, long-term kind of stuff. Keep the nerves, stay in it for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that. So didn't make it for the 30, but went out at 26.50, something like that. So, and I got in at 17. So that was fine. That kind of stuff I do as well. Equities, I mean, yeah, sure. You buy ETFs, I guess. They're cheap stuff to do, and you just hold them. There's a passive way to make some money. And obviously, like no asset manager is really beating those indices. So why reinventing the wheel? Like just buy them cheap and stack them up. Also on the crypto side, I think there's a lot of, the risk reward that you can find in certain areas there is not too bad at all. So I'm just flexible, and that's basically why I couldn't teach someone a single trading strategy, because what all these things that I do have in common is my analysis process, finding out, does it work, does it not work, where's the good side of it, what is the bad side of it, creating data about executing it, can I do it, can I not do it, all these kind of things are a lot more important than the actual thing itself. The compatibility and how am I able to really do it are a lot more structured in a structured way. So I focus on these kind of things, and I'm really open. Like any opportunity that comes up, I want to have a look at it, and that's why I'm a lot more concerned about the how process than the what process. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I first started, I knew that there has to be some sort of like a strategy, you need to trade this and that. But like as I got better, I understood that it's not about the strategy is about understanding why the market is printing the candles they're printing, what's happening in the in the macro fundamental arena, because you mentioned like 7 to 8 weeks, and that kind of like make my eyes like, whoa, 7 to 8 weeks hold over there. Was that a hold over there, 7 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, it was. And
Yeah.
actually, and even when I thought there might be like these blow off parabolic kind of moves, you just put limit orders that you take partial closes, so so that and you put them already, you stack them into the market, and then you just try not to screw yourself up by being impatient or getting ahead of yourself. You know what I mean?
No,
but you guys
yeah.
are a lot more short term of what you're doing here, and there's beauty in that as well. But really, what I like about it is this structured thing. Like every morning, you know what you came here to do. By the way, this other day, like 2-3 days ago, you started like with some music and stuff. I think you should think about more doing that.
John
Like
Cena.
bringing some, like some specialness to the moment when you start. I think that's I like that. But like maybe it's just a thing for me, but I thought that was cool. That was literally one of the first videos that I watched, and then I looked at all the others and said, "Damn, where's the music in the beginning?"
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube didn't like that at all. YouTube sent me an email, hey, this is a copyright infringement. We're like, oh shit,
Damn,
okay.
come
Yeah.
on.
Like,
All right,
come
okay,
on.
then hey, you have a good reason not to do it. But I
It's
like the
different
idea
than
that creating some holiness in something that you do again and again and again. I think that's treating it with value and respect is you treat yourself with value and respect. So that's kind of the thinking that I had there. So I like that for sure.
Yeah. No, trading's a lot of fun. I mean, we used to trade privately, like in a private webinar where it'd be like, 6-7 of us, and we like have fun with it. So we're like, hey, let's just open this for everybody. So then I remember when we first started live streams, we started from Twitch. We were there for about 4 or 5 months. Then we got banned from Twitch, and then we went to Mixer. Mixer is a platform by Microsoft. We went to Mixer, but the problem with Mixer was that it wasn't open to a lot of countries. So we saw our viewership drop from 200 people down to like 60, 80, 100. So I'm like, well, let's try YouTube. So we went to YouTube. So Alex, I mean, YouTube is such a big platform. Within a month, we were hitting 400 people, 500 people, and it blew my mind. I was like, 500 people are watching us, listening to us. I mean, to us retards, I mean, come on, man.
Now it's thousands, bro.
Yeah, now it's thousands. So it just took time. So I tell guys the same thing. Like, listen, if you're gonna come to trading, and you just have to give it time. You have to be very patient with it, because I mean, there are two things I always tell guys. Like, listen, there are only two ways you're gonna fail: whether if you overtrade or if you over risk. That's it. There is no other reason you're gonna fail.
And one thing I don't understand is like, why the rush anyway, guys? I mean, seriously, everybody's just chasing those results. And I don't understand why is nobody just trying to focus and enjoying the beauty of the moment, the process, what you're doing? Because look, the end is known. We're going to fucking die, like nobody's going to live forever. And that last shirt you're wearing has no pocket. So there's nothing to take with you neither. So why not really put effort and value into what's happening here and right now? And you're so right. I think people confuse patience with waiting. And waiting is not patience, because patience means you're like actually putting in work, you're learning, you're priming yourself, you're preparing yourself, you're getting better, you're understanding yourself better, your process, what you're doing. That is patience. Keep doing that while you're waiting for the gratification in a way. But just patience in terms of, I screw around a little bit, I'll wait a little bit, it's going to work out. No, actually not, and so you gotta do it, really, really put love into that thing that you do. You don't do that, then really you're missing the point. Being a trader is not about the pips and the cash at the end of it. It's the gratification but it's that whole process that you are able to do that, and that's actually what's the fantastic part of it. And people miss out on this. They're all blinded by Lambos and Insta whatever, and really forget about it's about the craft. It's about what you do. You want to be a good artist, you got to be a good singer or a good dancer, or you know what I mean. And you want to be a good trader, you got to be be good with your emotions, with your structure, your trading plan, your journaling, these kind of stuff. Bring it back to the essentials. Be honest. I think that's why I resonated with what you guys do here, because it's like it doesn't get any realer. Like I'm not a scalper per se, so I'm not sure if I could do that what you guys are doing, but. But that it's like no BS. Come on, we're so fed up with this BS culture shit that we've been just put through these last 10 years on this internet break, but that's fine. Things, this whole internet thing was new to everyone. It grew out of proportions, and now we're finding really, how things settle, the dust settles, and really look where is value, where is not. And I really think that's a big thing I'm very keen on, is that realness is a currency. And it might be like Bitcoin in 2012 or 11, all right? But wait for it. That currency is gonna skyrocket very heavily, and that's I don't want to miss that train in terms of not for the money part, but just to show people that being real and honest and focusing on what you do, that this pays off, and only this actually. And that's the kind of thing I want to stand for. That's all what I want to push out there into this world. That's what I want to teach the guys that come to me for coaching. Obviously, with everything they need to know and learn about trading, financial markets, and all this stuff. It's not. I'm not Tony Robbins, obviously. But you can't separate yourself from trading. I mean, tell me, can you? I can't.
I can't. Now I can't. Like I've seen the life, I've seen the, here's the thing, right? Like once you have a strict structure towards trading, no matter, let's say you're a swing trader, a position trader, scalper, you start to really enjoy it, right? But once you have no structure, you have no plan, you have no routine. I mean, at the same time, I tell guys, hey, like, listen, and also like, if your day-to-day life is not structured, if it's not planned, your trading, like, it's going to reflect in your trading too. Like, it's not going to be planned either. Like me, myself, like, I have 2 kids, I have a family, right? I take care of my parents too. So my whole day is busy. It's a structured day. I don't have time to look at the charts after the live stream. No, I'm busy. So
yeah, same here. Yeah. I have 2 boys and they are basically also, you got to know why you're doing what you're doing. That's also, a lot of people think they want the money, where in reality they actually want something else. So when you sit there and you be faced with a drawdown or stupid thing you made, just that you remember, oh, I do it for the money, is not going to get you out of that rut. You got to, when you understand really why you're doing what you're doing, whether it's your kids or you want to pay your parents back or get out of debt, or really, all these things are a lot more relevant than just that amount of numbers. But I agree with you. If you don't have a structure, then you can't also measure what your results are. You don't know what are you doing. You're just hopelessly lost. What I like to say, and I didn't obviously come up with this, but everybody knows it. When you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. You're not just, letting it for chance. You are planning to fail if you're failing to plan, and the more you understand and accept that is true, then you put effort into your planning, into your structure. Because if you don't, the world's going to come and eat you alive. It doesn't matter really what part of it you're in, So though I'm firm on these things, like maybe I'm also overemphasizing on them, but that's what I stand for. This is my positioning. I want to be very clear about that. That's why.
Yeah, the thing is, you're pretty old school, you're solid, you're genuine, and the thing at the end of the day, those are the kind of guys who go really far. Like when you're open and honest about things, about you do stuff. So like, that's pretty good. You've probably seen a lot of more NFPs than we have. 100%.
So what's your guess? I mean, do you guess numbers, or do you any of that, or just looking for market and react basically?
To be honest, I'm keeping in mind what's happening in the fundamental arena here, like, with the vaccine and the virus and stuff. So I would say numbers are going to be bad because the economies are locking back down again. And when the economy is locked down, malls are closed, there's less retail things happening, less people are employed at that point.
Right.
So
actually, do we have Canadian numbers today as well? I didn't check, to be honest.
Yeah, we have Canadian numbers as well.
All right. Yeah, that's a nice thing to look at. Typically, if you have some divergence on the dollar CAD, or that's interesting sometimes for a bigger move, when both those numbers come at the same time. I used to trade news quite a while. but also more algorithmically when I noticed that I want to be fast. Come on, like over news, I really want to be fast to catch those moves. And when you use limit orders, you can get filled better. But at some point, the liquidity providers didn't like it because you were making money quite quickly, and so they would shut you down. Like, that's what I'm saying. You know, when you think you've figured something out, and then reality slaps you in the face to tell you, then you got to be prepared to find another way. You know what I mean? That's why the how is so important. You got to stay on track, have a process of how you analyze something, understand what is working, what is not working, work on your own weaknesses, blind spots, you know, be honest with yourself, become more mature in the fucking process. You know, those things matter. The story you tell yourself matters, you know, and that's the kind of stuff that I believe really separates people that achieve what they setting out to achieve, and others that are just, like you said, dreaming about it, you know.
Here's someone said in the chat, what do you guys think about the US 30? And someone replied, sell, hopefully. See, those things don't work, you know. When you're like, well, hopefully it's a sell, hopefully it's a buy. Like, you have to be very strict in what you say. You're like, okay, it's going to be a sell, and this is the reason why it should be a sell. You know, so Alex, sometimes, you know, we have a YouTube chat here going at the same time, and I mean, this is called the gulag. This is where like new traders come in, inexperienced as well at times, you know. So we try to like guide them at the same time. Good. Sometimes we catch their comments about, you know, something like a sell hopefully, or like, you know, I mean, yeah, so we're trying to help guys here in the gulag here too.
Yeah, also the thing is, you know, don't marry to your opinion. You know, you don't even know where this opinion comes from. It's the lowest form of knowledge, as they say. You know, it's like, just because you believe something is true, it doesn't make it any true. So you got to be flexible. Like, I love that, by the way, the conversation, especially with my wife, when she tells me, you just changed your mind. Like earlier you said the complete opposite. I say, hey, I'm a trader. It's my job to change my mind.
Yeah. You analyze risk.
New information, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say like be crazy all the time, and no, but you know, you got to be able to not be married with your opinion. You know what I mean? Like, really use your senses to your advantage. Don't let them work against you. You know, that's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, you have to be open-minded to possibilities. There's always a possibility. Yeah.
And you also have to be open-minded to the possibility that you were wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So what's up? Is there anything interesting on the charts at the moment? What are you looking for?
Man, you know how it is. It's NFP today. Everything's ranging before the news.
That's true. Very little ranges, obviously. Actually, almost next to no movement.
Yeah. What I'm looking at is, with bad NFP, can we correct this bearish move we had on gold with the vaccine news? That's what I'm looking at. Can we move back to 1850 or not?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. 1852, next zone.
I will need something strong to break that resistance, to be honest.
Yeah, usually my bad, Kerwin.
No, go ahead.
What I'm saying, like on NFP lately, the numbers, like when they get released, the market doesn't move right away. So I'm telling these people that, you know, just if you have a buy stop or something, just to wait a little before the market absorbs it.
So yeah, go on.
No, basically, so we're expecting the news release for this month, right? So based on what I'm seeing here in the States, I think we may have good numbers, even though you know, this all this thing from the C word is still sketchy, and vaccine is basically getting approved. Probably Saturday we're gonna have some news about the vaccine getting approved on the States. So my opinion, my play on gold, it's been like, this was basically on the weekly candle, just basically pullback, and then we may have a nice sell-off on gold. To be honest, it's really tricky trying to take buys on gold at this point, because news are gonna be released in 12 minutes. So my play, it's gonna be a heavy pullback on gold, coming toward I will say 1825 easily. And after that, you know, we have seen this a lot with NFP. If you have bad numbers, good numbers, sometimes it doesn't matter for gold. If gold is at any given point in an institutional level, that institutions are gonna take those sales. It's gonna drop no matter what. If you have good numbers or bad numbers on NFP, but weekly, it's I mean the daily candle still trading around the same daily candle resistance from yesterday. It's been ranging for basically the entire day. um so my play is gonna be looking for sales on gold below 1838 50, basically coming toward 1825. That's gonna be an easy play on gold. But I definitely don't recommend anybody taking trades on NFP. If you're not an experienced trader, you can get like a really a bad headache trying to take any trade today.
It's
Today
Friday.
is the day when a lot of goats are going to the slaughter plant.
Slippage, guys, right? I mean,
Yeah,
slippage is also
slippage.
people underestimate the
Yeah.
issues that you can have in execution around these news times. And
Yeah.
spreads go wide, and liquidity providers do that to protect themselves. They don't have these wide spreads, but if they have the one crowd executing a lot further, and then the other crowd on the others, they're making the difference. Again, it's all internalized. There's no real market at the end of the day. The real market is, I don't know, when real currency exchanges happen, but on trading, it's just one book pushes up to the next entity, and at some point there's one huge bank that just swallows it all. So it's all synthetic, guys, like in my world, at least the way I see it. So these spread widenings, they do them so they collect all the people's stops also that go wide. If they're too close, your stops, you're gonna be eaten by the market just by widening of the spreads. The market didn't even go anywhere. So I also tell people, please watch the bid and the ask on your screen so you understand
right.
there's something called spread and that it's dynamically going further, and yeah, it's funny, but most people don't even understand these kind of simple things, like that this thing can change and really impact you. You can eat your stop without the price moving, actually.
Yeah, that's something interesting because what I think is that the reason the brokers also they increase the spread during news time or when there's a dead market hours is because that there will be retail traders trying to trade the news, so they want to make as much as they can on the spread. Yes.
And that's why I'm saying, like, don't hate them for that. That's their game. That's their play. That's their business. That's their job, to work with that. You can't change that, but you can work with that. That's what I'm trying to say, if I'm trying to change brokers or banks' behavior, I'm going to have a very miserable life,
And it's going to be super hard.
Yeah, what you said earlier was, it kind of caught my attention because I was talking to somebody about that as well. Like how you said that this whole charts that we see, this is just artificial. Like this is not the market. This is like big institutions, order books,
making markets.
Yeah. And
basically,
we're just reading between the lines of that huge order book. Yeah, and to me, I was like, man, if this is artificial, then this does not really exist.
Matrix.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we're going deep down the rabbit hole. So what is existence to begin with? I think would be the first question I'd ask myself. How do I confirm to myself what exists and what doesn't?
Yeah, and then
it
what's
doesn't
the
have a real life impact,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying, like that there is if it's all synthetic, but that's the problem, like with all this, or the challenge, all this digital world that we live in, like the question of what is real and what is not really boils down to more or less the experience you're having. So that's why I'm saying, like, why not focus on the moment and try to live your life to the fullest in every moment, whether you work, whether you relax, whether you love, whether, better not hate actually, but you know what I mean? Like really immerse in that is here and now. And because nothing is real in a way, if you put it this way, if you really, if you want to go all philosophical on me, that's my answer. So what you make out of it, that's the reality in your context. And this is what I love about this universe. Everything is about personal context to it and perspective. That's why I'm saying nothing is real in a way, and everything also at the same time.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah. The way how I look at it is that I know that one day I'm not going to be here. I have this chart, as morbid as that chart seems. Now that chart has boxes on it, right? And every box represents 1 week, and that chart goes all the way to 88 years old. So I was thinking that, okay, even though I'm I'm unchecking one box every week, there's going to be a time where I'm not going to be able to check that box because I'm not going to be here. At the same time, like when I leave, what am I going to leave back? Right, for people to enjoy over here. I think that's one of the reasons, like, guys say, hey, like, why don't you have a fast car, you do this, do that. And then my answer is that's the reason, because when I leave, I don't want to leave behind something that's going to depreciate over time, or that's going to turn into a liability for the people behind me. I want to leave something that they can eat off of, like, they can prosper off of. So that's why when I see, like, all this income come in, I'm really, I don't know, like, I try to hold on to it, also to make sure that once I go, there's already something built behind for people to, like, live off of.
Yeah, I love that, man. Look, we're transitory. Like, don't get too proud and all up in your head. Like, seriously, let your work make you proud, and not, your sense of needing to be proud. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little big difference, as they say. And I, by the way, I love that. I see a lot more people that really care about what are we leaving in this world, as we progress through it. And the more people, and I think, even when still we're bound in this superficial Instagram world to some extent, it's changing. And how do we change the world, by the way? You got to sweep in front of your own damn door. You can't change the world. You can only change yourself, And so no, but I say these things in the context. You want to learn trading, you got to put in the effort to learn that, that craft in the niche that you really want to be present in, so for you guys, is watching these couple pairs, certain rules, parameters become really quick and fast in your perception, and also your ability to make a decision, to click, I guess, also. And this is how it actually works out. And repetition, refinement, and also understand better about yourself, about your results, and this is how you really make it to something, and not chasing one strategy after the next. It's like, you want to find love by trying another woman every day. That stuff doesn't work. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it can work.
No, don't start. Don't start.
It depends.
Well, again, right. Thanks for saying it. It depends on what you're looking to get out of it. You got to look for what it is that really makes you click, but believe that's still a process. It's never an end. It's never a destination.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, because like someone would come on and say, "Well, I'll show you it can work 100%."
And by the way, also you're willing to take calculated risks a lot more then, not because you're too risky. On the contrary, because you're more confident in your ability and in your assessment, and that is growing up. That is getting mature. That is really getting good at something, and it feels so good from so many areas. And the money is actually the I guess the physical manifestation of it in a way, But if you chase that end, you're not going to make the progress you need to make to get the money. And that's kind of a lot of people got it wrong. Huh?
Like Scarface says, first you get the money, then you get the power, and then you get the girl.
Yeah, I pass on the power. It's fine. I want to live, I don't want to be sure.
All right, we got around 3 minutes left here for NFT.
All right, here we go.
It's going to be interesting. See if we're going to have a fireworks today or not.
Let's see.
Normally when I'm trading the news, what I normally like to do is I like to have a buy stop a couple pips above the 30-minute candle and a sell stop a couple pips below the 30-minute candle. Because the reason why is because if there's going to be a really, really big move, it's going to respect the previous candle's high or a low if it's going to break the low or the high. Right? So if the next candle breaks the high, then there's a very high probability for it to continue moving for at least, let's say, like 30, 40, 50 pips, because it's gold, because it's very volatile and has a lot of volume. So that's something I like to do when I'm trading. But, my broker, they went away from Canada, so I'm not trading for the month of December here. They got booted out of Canada because they were trying to advertise here in Canada to clients for crypto exchanges. And the regulatory authority here said, well, it's pretty risky, guys. You can't do that. And they didn't listen. And then they're like, well, you can't operate in Canada anymore.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, like regulation is getting pretty tight up here. They ran away IC markets. They ran away Vantage FX now. So slowly, man, I don't know what's going on, but they're really clamping down on these
but they
brokerages.
still allow the options kind of stuff. This is what I don't get necessarily. You know, it's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
people are going over there, which is even more riskier and more stupid to do, in my opinion.
Does option?
Tell me.
Option has like lots of leverage.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It allows a lot more leverage, especially for the retail crowd still, and you can lose a lot more money more quickly without like seeing P&L in front of your eyes too much. You know, that's kind of the thing.
I think option is Option is one of the more dangerous equities to trade, because you have the theta decays. A lot of people don't understand about the theta decays. They just see that you could turn 1,000 into 10,000 in a matter of hours or whatever. But you have theta decays and weekly options that decays eat up your capital so fast if it doesn't move in the right direction.
But again, here it's a simple fix. Something for something. Nothing exists in a vacuum. You know, if you understand these things and you're looking for that as you analyze stuff, you know, you're just not just taking it as the promised land, but you really analyze and you know there's a counterbalance to any good. There's a bad also, you know, and then you got to define your risk, whether you want to take it or not, and do it in a calculated way. So here we go.
It's popping. No.
Well, GJ's melting right now.
Sells on gold.
Gold's playing up.
Oh, gold is pushing hard.
Yeah, it's retracing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little risky. I wouldn't even get in it.
What's the numbers?
Like the numbers were good.
Wow, terrible numbers. 245 non-farm payroll.
Oh.
Expected was 469 and actual only 245.
Then yeah, we may correct this move on gold then.
Yeah, continue up.
Probably gonna slaughter the dollar even more.
Yeah.
So by the way, just from a fundamental perspective, like why is the bad NFP bad for the US dollar? Because they're looking to need to spend more in this whole stimulus kind of thing, which means just more and more dollars are going to be put into circulation, which is an inflationary pressure. So that's why the value of dollar goes down. You know, just this one angle to look at it. So what do you guys do in this kind of instance now in gold? Like if someone had taken that buy now, like obviously kind of a fake breakout now, the way it looks now. So how do you manage this kind of position now in case you were in it now? I'm interested. Someone want to tell me?
Well, you would have put automatically take profit in. That's one. If we're going to take it based on setting limit orders, you would want to put your take profit in. So that way, even if your order do get executed and it triggers and it goes up, it takes your TP out before, you know, it comes back down.
All right, but are you talking about like a trailing TP, or you mean because if you put the TP level at 1850, for example, you couldn't have done that?
No, we're not talking about trailing TP. We're talking about manual TP.
Manual, all right.
Roger has another policy. It's called allergy to losses. As soon as he starts getting a loss, he gets an itch and he just closes.
All right, fair enough.
Here's when gold is gonna start making suffer some people right now. That quick to the upside. I just hope nobody's still holding these buys because it can give you a headache.
GJ just did the opposite.
Let's see what pound yen did. Oh, it's still ranging over here.
He did the opposite. Did a bottom wick and now start to push up.
So far it looks pretty much priced in. Negative number. Not too much of a breakout happening.
Hey Alex, I had a question. As far as regulations and being legal, I know everyone wants to know about this to be able to be legit as a trader. If you end up wanting to open a company, and as far as leverages, for example, in the States, it's supposed to be 50-1. And for example, if you're not, I mean, you're able to use a 200-1, let's say on Hugo's way. Would you open a company and then have to do a 50-1, or would you still be able to do like a 200-1 or 500-1?
You mean the difference between a private personal account and a company account, or
Yeah, if you wanted to go legal and do your taxes and everything, and
Yeah.
as
Well,
far as a trader.
no, that like whatever you do on the tax side, the broker has nothing to do with that. Obviously, you got to figure out that yourself. But from a client perspective, whether you are a company or a person, doesn't matter. What matters is your qualifications. You can be qualified as a professional client, as a person, just as much as a company, but the company will be treated based on its directors. In a way, you have to, and it's not like in Europe to get higher leverages or to be a professional client. In Australia, it's pretty much the same now. You got to have some trading history, or you got to like 3 issues. 2 of them you need to check. Either you have enough trading history. Typically, it's 2 quarters or 4 quarters of at least 2 or 5 trades per quarter that are in a decent size, or you have $500,000 in cash, or you've worked in industry for at least a year. So if you tick 2 of these boxes, you get higher leverages, but you also lose protections. Like basically, if you want higher leverage, this is why I'm not a big fan of this lower leverage stuff happening all over the world, because your only choice is to go now into either offshore jurisdictions, like IC markets now takes you to Seychelles or wherever, if you want to have more than the small leverage. Or you got to qualify as a professional. But as a professional, you give up certain protections. Like you can't go to the ombudsman if there's any sort of differences or any of that stuff. So you trade something for something. So you can have higher leverages, but you need to qualify as a professional by ticking 2 out of these 3 boxes, which not everybody is able to achieve. Also, just because you've been trading for a while, you neither have worked in the industry for a year or you neither have $500,000 to show. So those are the requirements, at least in Europe, and as far as I understand, Australia as well. But I think in the US you can't even qualify as a professional like that. Then you got to be an ECP or a QEP, and then we're talking people 10 million plus from their kind of money. And that's what I know at least about it.
Okay, good knowledge.
But also, by the way, guys, I get this question so many times, like, how can I get funded? Where do I get money for my trading from and stuff like that? And I really want people to focus on their ability to make money from trading first before they want to figure out how to raise money. A lot of people get into the trading game thinking that they need to raise money first, more or less, and I think that doesn't make sense. If you're not good enough, all you're scaling up is your bad ability, and it's going to come bite you in the ass, and you're going to lose other people's money doing that. So, and I've seen that so many times that I'm very against it extremely. If you don't have 6 months, a year, really to show consistently, rule-based trading that actually has a positive result, you shouldn't be thinking about more money to trade. That's just my opinion, and I'm very firm on that.
Alex, where are you from again? Because I don't think you mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm from Germany actually. Like my parents are immigrants, but I was born and lived in Germany all my life, and presently I'm between Cyprus and Dubai usually.
Okay.
So on the other side of the planet, the other side of the planet.
The side of the pond.
Okay, I thought you were stateside. Okay.
No, like I just like to watch movies as a kid. That's why my English is a little bit okay.
Okay.
No, it's awesome. So, what's your trading approach right now? Like normally, do you look at like long-term plays? Are you just looking at like short-term plays? What's happening with your trading life over there?
It's a bit of a mix. So I have short-term plays going on, but those are typically algorithmic. And like the last thing also that I played, like oil was quite an interesting opportunity earlier this year, especially after it went sub-zero basically. So I took some of that back up. So I'm looking for extremes usually. I want to look for something extreme where the risk reward is really juicy, So if I lose the money, okay, but if I win the money, I win big. Those are the kind of trades on a more longer term side that I'm prepared to take or that I'm looking for. I do have some fundamental analysis going on. Obviously, I also do technical analysis. I like to combine the things, especially for the long term plays. But for the short term trading, it's 100%, just algorithmic, very fast trading, in, out, quick stuff, simply stuff that I can't do manually. And then I'm really looking for getting the quality of execution that I need for a specific pair or a specific market. I try to get that through my relationships in the liquidity space, and really try to get better execution. Like if you guys, for example, are trade a lot on GJ or gold, I'm sure that you could get a bit better of a feed on that if you all trade it with the same broker, and I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying, like, then you have more power to ask for better prices then, and as you get more experienced in the space, you just know like what the real spread is, and what's going on there. And So I try to be as effective as possible from the cost side, because that's also one thing I believe a lot of people don't seem to get, that every trade you make is an expense. It's not just a risk from a trading perspective, but it's actually costing you money to do. So you want to be as efficient as possible on the cost side. You don't want to spend more on your trades than you have to, which as a retail trader is very difficult to achieve. But I mean just simple stuff. Go through some rebate cashback website instead of just paying the full spread, or go through an IB to a broker. Most of these marketers out there, that's how they make money, through affiliation. They bring clients to brokers pay rebates to them. That's how they make the money. So no, you're able to open your trading account through a rebate website, and then you get part of your volume back, so that immediately your trading result got better because you had less costs for trading. So this is where my mind is, and this is actually it's quite economical thinking. It's not even trading related per se. It's just looking at trading, and this is what I also don't get it. Like, especially when you think you're trading small, and it doesn't matter whether you spend 50 cents or 80 cents on a trade. It does matter. The devil is in the details, and you're never gonna make it past that shitty level if you don't pay attention to the details. So sorry, man up and do it. Pay attention to every little thing and really try to optimize it.
Yeah, I know that's true.
You
So
said
like,
something.
okay, yeah, go on.
Oh, you said something that was so important. A lot of people don't understand, like, this is a business. Trading is a business. At the end of the day, you gotta, because I reach out to my broker, and I also have them lower my commission. Like, plenty of people don't know, like, if you trade a certain amount of volume, you could always reach out to them and say, hey, your commission on a one lot is $6. Can you lower it down to $5 or $4? Like, they're willing to work with you on the amount of trades you take. You don't have to accept that.
You've got to ask. That's another German saying: asking doesn't cost money.
True. Right.
So it looks like quite muted NFP. Not much going on there, right?
No, I guess you're right. This was priced in. I also think that, like, I mean, if you look at the numbers, they're super bad numbers. Like from 480,000 down to 240,000. That's like half a cut over there. So I think if it's not moving now, it might start moving by NYC Open, when the news starts to get absorbed into the market, and when NYC opens, they start to understand that, okay, what this number really means. So I guess it's going to be waiting here. But still, it's a Friday. I don't encourage anyone to trade on a Friday, because people make their biggest losses either on Mondays or Fridays. Monday because they want to make some gains. Fridays because they want to make back losses. And then you basically compound your losses on Fridays.
And by the way, I would encourage everyone to find out. Like, there's this thing called My FX Book. It's not even rocket science.
Right.
You can look at your days, which days am I doing better than others? Pay attention to details. Like I said, I'm repeating myself, but really, I mean, there's no excuse why you shouldn't know if you do better on a Friday than you do on a Tuesday. And if you don't know that, then you're missing out knowing that, really. And that's why somebody else who does know that is doing better than you.
Yep. It's true.
No, man, it's a beautiful thing. Like, here we've had a lot of guests on from different backgrounds, and I mean, it's been almost like 3 years. Next year is going to be 4 years of us streaming every day for free for the community. And my goal is to hit 10,000 live viewers. If I can hit 10,000 live viewers, I think that I've given enough value to be able to present in front of 10,000 people.
There's no reason why you shouldn't reach that. Like, from my opinion, it's like the wine library story of Gary Vee. If I look at this stuff, like, so give it some time. There's no reason why you shouldn't hit that numbers in my world, at least. And there's a lot more people interested in Forex trading than just these 10K people, actually.
Oh yeah, like now, man, a lot. Even with these lockdowns, like my family friends, they ask me about, hey man, so you trade? I'm like, yeah, I guess I trade. Then they're like, well, teach us. And I'm like, it's not about teaching. It's about, do you have genuine interest in it or not? But like watching someone make money and like watching someone do it, it's really easy to say like, can you teach us? But you need to have genuine interest in it to really like, prepare yourself forward. Because like, some days you're going to take losses. And I mean, if you're in it for the money and you're taking losses, you might not want to continue, or you might want to continue with revenge trades. But if you're coming in with genuine interest, maybe that loss, you may try to look at that loss as if to say that, okay, like, I took a loss. Okay, how? Why? What did I miss? Was it something I overlooked? I didn't take into account? Was there news at that time? Were the candles not aligned properly? If you have interest, you start to look at those things, and then you start to get better beyond those things. But if you're in for the money, or you want to pay off some debts, or you want to retire your parents, I mean,
you're not even looking. You're not even
looking.
So how are you supposed to see it? Yeah. So really, I don't understand. Like, people have the strangest expectations. You think it's just gonna magically float to you. I don't get it. I mean, like, seriously, I mean, nothing is literally for free in this world. It's not bad per se. You've got to work on what you want. Go get it. That's what life is for.
So Alex, what's your biggest advice to someone who is stuck at? Okay, so I see traders with different phases, right? The first phase is where they're trying to make money, but they're taking a lot of losses and they're just losing and losing and losing. The second phase is when they're not losing and not winning. They're just stuck at break even. I call that the break even phase, and that's the longest phase someone can get stuck in. What's your advice to someone who's stuck in that phase and trying to break out?
My advice would be, first of all, write down what you're doing. Obviously, the very first thing, and I'm not saying that to ring my own bell, but in a way, I think it's just important. Get someone to help you see things that you're not seeing. Whether it's a mentor or your mom, I don't care. But get someone that is on your side, that's not taking your money. That's not bringing you to a broker whose interest is to really give you a real feedback, and then start to really write down what it is that you're doing. Is there a structure to your trading strategy? And if you notice challenges in writing things down, then it means some of the stuff is not defined enough. There's too much playing around there. Then this is an area that you want to focus on to try to understand, what do I need to formulate differently to define these things better so I can deal with them better as they come up in the real-time situation. And then don't second guess your trading as you trade. Keep on following your plan, gather the data through your journaling, through, what you're doing. Like, really, you got to execute. Don't second guess. The time for execution is not the time for planning. Do your trading and review it afterwards, and really put effort into understanding where you lost, where you won, and how you stuck to your process, and that really uncovered, areas that you didn't see before. And so in a way, it's really what I just said. It's like paying attention to details. Find someone who's willing to give feedback to you that is on your side. That's your friend. That's not looking to make money off of you by giving you some bullshit story, and that's why I think, and that's super important. If you're stuck by yourself, especially we as traders, we hang in our rooms all day long, and you don't see the forest for the trees, as they say, any longer. So it's very important. It's like, when you're a musician and you mix a song and you do something, you got to sleep at some point and listen to it the next day, because you don't have the fresh eyes anymore. And we get stuck in that process as we trade so many times. Also, I like what you say about trade one trade a day, second trade a day. That's it. If you do too much, then you're caught up in the noise and you don't even know what is working, what is not working, what is pushing my buttons, what is not. You're just in this soup of shit. Sorry, you know, and you're and this is where you got to get yourself out of it. You got to pull yourself out of it, create structure, rebuild, clean, and really separate it, and then put it back together and go out and do it. You know, that's I hope this makes sense as an advice. It wasn't the shortest one.
Yeah, we have some people here trying to look for trades while we're talking about being disciplined. And I'm just like, it's a Friday. We had NFP. Just, it's okay to not trade today. I mean, you're not going to make millions in one day. It's never going to happen. It's because, like, you know, we have a lot of uncertainty, prices ranging. Now we have NFP. We have volatile candles around. So it's better to just look at this day as a day. We had 2 guests on. We had some valuable information being shared, and just, you know, like, focus on what I like to do on a Friday. I like to reflect on my week from Monday till Thursday, you know, because obviously I made some decisions. If I made some trades, I'm going to look at that and say that, okay, how could I have done those things better? You know, if I had a winning trade, what could I have seen in the market that would have told me that, okay, Raja, this is where you can add more to this trade? Or if I had a losing trade, what could I have done to say that, okay, maybe I took maybe like a 80% loss? What could I have done to maybe reduce that loss further? Because if we start focusing on reducing losses further, then we're going to understand that, okay, okay, so Alex, in the last year, I really, truly, now you have like a lot of years experience than me, obviously. But in the last year, I really, truly understood what it really means to keep losses small and winners big. You know, I really understood that. And the way I understood that was that, okay, if price is going to hit my stop loss, it's not important for me to take that 100% hit. I can like reduce my risk as price goes against me.
By the way, I say that all the time to people. Like, you've got to have something in your trade management that allows you to react before you're hitting your targets. You know, if your trade hypothesis just got weakened along the way, then it's time to react to that. Take some off. It also takes the pressure of you, you know, and you just don't sit there just like the mouse in front of a snake waiting to be eaten in a way, you know, because you also, you train your ability to make decisions and to act upon them. And that's why it's important. If your trade idea got weakened, then don't follow through with it until the bitter end. You know, you're not married to it. You know, so this is how the things still work up in my world. So yes, I think it's very important what you say, that you cultivate the ability to let go of your opinion and to react to things as they really come up when they happen, you know. And if your trade idea got weakened, it means your risk got more. If your risk got higher, you want to react to that by reducing your risk. End of story. It's easy, but it's simple, but not easy, you know.
yeah, simple but not easy.
Mm-hmm. But this is how I see it. Like, and that's why I try to also explain to myself why I want to look for these moments to react in that way, because I understand there's an actual benefit to being able to do that, and that benefit prevents me from losing more than I have to.
People asking, like, the way to contact Alex. There's his Instagram right over there.
Right.
What was it like working for a hedge fund? Is it as glamorized as we see on, you know, like Wolf of Wall Street or in, like, you know?
No, not at all, actually. There's a lot of old dudes to begin with.
Okay.
No, joking aside, it's very corporate, it's very strict. There's a lot of, like, just to get into that, it's very costly, you know. To run a fund, you're looking at six figures costs just a year. So you need to have, you know, certain amount of money to trade, certain types of clients, and so that requires certain type of behavior, you know. And when I went to London to do some sales, you know, it's not like some Instagram ad, you know. It's very different. You know, so and those people are very picky on you explaining to them your strategy, not in terms of spoiling your secret, but they want to know about the risks of it, you know, and they want to understand what are they actually exposing themselves to. Especially FX, even in the hedge fund space, is not really a classical asset type. No, it's still seen as something exotic, and it's a lot tougher to raise money for that. So you got to really make a good sale, and to do that, you got to be on point. You got to present what you're doing. You got to have certified results. It doesn't take too much. You can take a chartered accountant in the US or Canada. You give them access to your account. It's not even the most expensive thing in the world, but then you have an independent verification of your results, and my FX book is also a very good way to do that. That's the thing. Like, you want to go very corporate, then you got to take the roads of lawyers, certifiers, these kind of stuff. And if you want to go with the crowd, like these days, then you got to go with my FX book and this kind of stuff, so that people see what you're doing. But also people just think they can tag onto someone and copy what he's doing, and then they miss out on all the details in that. Problems with this: you're not getting the same price, you're getting more slipped, or you have a delay in the copying process. Like, there's details involved in everything that you want to do and achieve. So pay attention to those. And that was the biggest difference between the retail crowd and the hedge fund business, is that they don't leave a lot of things to chance. Actually, nothing. They over plan, they over structure, because they also have like legal obligations, and that's why. And in the retail space, it's a little bit the opposite. They under plan, they under structure. So if you find somewhere a balance in that, I think then you're well off. And this is, by the way, what you do when you trade for yourself mostly, because then you have enough structure that you need to be successful with what you're doing, and you are your best customer as well. So you have an interest to not under plan or under structure. And in this also, when I stopped working in that industry, it was because I wanted to be independent. I didn't want to be that corporate guy. I probably could be some director in some fund or FX company or whatever, but that wasn't really what I was looking to do, and especially, but how did I find out? By trying out and then making that decision, not going with the picture of assuming. Like, really, that's also what I teach in my mentorship so much. Move away from assumptions, make decisions, find out the actual results, and then have a knowing about something, whether you want it or not, whether it works or not. But stop just assuming and jerking around left and right with half knowledges and not really knowing what it is, And this is, I think, where a lot of people don't walk that extra mile, are not willing to put in that extra effort, but they demand from life that extra honey back. And sorry, man, I didn't make those rules, but it doesn't work this way.
Alex, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What kind of music were you into?
Oh, that's
were you a rapper?
Yeah, well, I didn't rap myself. I was a producer, so I had a studio and I was making tracks basically. Nice. But it's definitely like rap music related kind of stuff. Yes.
Oh, for real? So nowadays people do Forex to fund their music. You did it the other way around.
Yeah, but I lost all my money from using Forex. But yeah, I had this funny thought. I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to say that, but that's because you brought out. I thought, like, when I was watching this whole thing here, I felt like, I don't know, it felt like the old New York of rap music, like this East Coast shit, like the Mobb Deep of trading kind of stuff. It's like this is the feeling that I got from watching you guys.
You're gang. Damn.
Nah, thank you. So like you mentioned that you would go to places and do these sales and stuff. Was this also for like algorithms, like you're presenting algorithms to hedge funds that, hey, this is the record and all that? That was
more tricky, to be honest. You could only sell algorithms to someone that had an appetite for them, to the algorithm, because usually what hedge funds understand when they talk about algorithms is some sort of a dealing mechanism. So it's not really normal trading per se, but this just reaction to liquidity or sweeping top of the book, that kind of stuff. So this is what they know about the algorithmic world. And then even when you look at high frequency trading is nothing else than taking the top of the book from the liquidity providers and offering it at a bit higher price to whoever wants to trade, who's a bit slower in the market. So it's a constant quick front running. And that's the kind of stuff that the institutions were more interested in from trading, because they don't enjoy speculation. They want something sure,
Yeah.
And that's why you just get to understand that everybody cooks with water. There's no magic sauce anywhere around. but some people just know more than others because they went more into the depth of understanding their environment, what they're doing, what they're trying to do, who is their competition, you know, and through that you just understand a lot more what you need to do to achieve the goal you're looking for.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that how institutions, they're not necessarily looking for algos for returns, but they're looking for that latency, right?
There's an aspect to speed involved, yes. And I have to admit, like, that's also something I had a lot of experience in, simply because I used to work in the liquidity space for a while, you know, and then you understand, hey, if your server is in LD4 or NY4, you're just getting faster quotes than elsewhere. And there was a time where the market was a lot less efficient than it is today. Today, you can't buy in New York and sell in Tokyo and just freeze in some spreads. But there was a time where this was possible. You know, you were buying and selling at two different venues, and you were freezing in a positive spread, not a negative spread between the two. But the market has become so much more efficient. Technology caught up so much faster that this stuff doesn't work anymore.
There's a really good movie on that. It's called the Hummingbird Project. Have you seen it?
I think I've seen it. It's a while ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a movie where these two guys, they work for hedge funds, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to build these towers to basically reduce the latency from 16 microseconds to 15 microseconds, and then sell that to hedge funds, because like there's big money in that. Because like, and then after I watched that, I started to think about that. Okay, maybe the institutions are not after algorithms that make money, but they're after ways to shorten the time they execute orders, to be, back to your point, to be like at the head of the game.
That's the point. They're not doing that to beat the market. They're doing that to beat the slower market participants. That's the difference. They're taking the money from them because they are not prepared enough or good enough or fast enough to do better. So that's why I'm saying most people in this Forex industry or in this market, they are bait and prey for these kind of institutions, liquidity providers, HFT providers, all of these kind of things, you know. So that's why, you know, as a manual trader, in my world, it's easier to try to take a more of a swing trading approach, because then you're not bound to the single pip here and there, you know, whereas the lower time frame you take, the more every little bit counts a lot, and then there's people in that space that are just better prepared, you know. It's like go with a knife to shooting with guns, you know. You're not prepared enough, you're not good enough, you're not as vicious enough as the other ones that are fighting for the same thing. So but then again, there's guys like you that found their niche, you know, because what I like about this Wickfill thing is that you're actually playing that market behavior. You're trying to tag along, you know, in a way, the way I understand you do it. Obviously, my understanding about what you do might be not enough to do, but this is how I understand. You're not really trying to, you know, how can I say? So what are you doing is that there is this certain type of behavior in the market that you have watched again and again and again and again. And that, in a way, that wick filling is part of that thing that keeps happening. And that's, by the way, probably it, that larger players push the market in certain directions so that people jump on it. Then it comes back very quickly, because in a way, markets are like a spring. If there's not enough people jumping on a certain direction, then you press the spring, and if there's not force coming further, then boom, the spring shoots back. And that's exactly what you see so many times happen on markets, and people get, you know, swept up in that dynamics, and their stops getting hit. And what you're doing, you're actually piggybacking that kind of spring movement, the way I understood it, at least. And I thought that was quite smart. Again, you're working with what's going on. You're not trying to control something you have no control over.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely right. My whole inspiration came from, I was listening to this podcast. This podcast is, let me bring this up over here, google.com.
With traders?
Yeah. Futures Trader. Okay, so it was Chat with Traders episode, I think it was 82. Episode 82. Oh yeah, this one right here. Was it this one? Futures Trader 71. Yeah, this is a podcast I was listening to like 3 years ago, and there was this guy over here, and what he was talking about that. So this guy runs a brokerage slash education thing where they train traders to trade on their firm and to make money on that. And what he said was that they focus on trader development. And the way they focus on trader development is that they try to see that what individual trader is really good at. Is like you have one trader who's good at waiting, there's one who's good at playing your volume pushes, so they would just focus on those few things, because he said that if you can really focus on something that you're good at in the markets, then you can really exploit that to make more income.
100%. That's what I try help people find out about themselves. This is exactly what I do in my mentorship. I don't tell people about what trading strategy they're supposed to trade, but to find out which strategy works best for them, and also help them find, direct them into strategies that have a good reason that they are capable to win. There's loads of strategies that just don't, and all this martingale shit and whatever the gambling part of trading, but that's exactly what I try to help people with. Find their thing, and then excel in really that thing that just works with you. You're not resisting it the whole time. You're not fighting it the whole time, but you're actually going with it. And that is different for every single one of us. And this is exactly where I try to really be of help to my students.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm going to listen to this podcast, I just open it up here now.
Honestly, I listen to this podcast once a week. No word of a lie. Right. Once a week. I know.
I love that also, by the way, that humbleness that you say you're still on a quest to learn every day, and that's the appeal of what you're doing, man. Really, I love the values you put out there, and then just the real deal, I'm okay, enough of the praising now, but because there's so much other shit out there. Really, I was so glad to see that this exists, and then that I get to be here as well. So I was very pumped about it. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. No. One reason I guess we're more humble is because me personally, I understand. I've only been in the markets for about 4 years. And I know people who've been in the markets for 20 years, 25 years. So looking at that and looking at myself, I'm like, yeah, I have to be humble. There's no reason why I shouldn't be humble, because I still have a very, very long way to go.
That's true. Even though I just want to add one thing, because I'm a big fan of clarity and real stuff, is that time alone is not a qualifying factor. It's just a quantifying factor. Someone who really trades and put quality work into what he's doing 10 hours a day might be more experienced in 3-4 years than someone who's putting in 2 hours in 10 years. You know what I mean? So it's really about the density of your experience that creates the being experienced, and not just the time alone. By getting old alone, you're not getting better with anything all by yourself.
Yeah, that's the sad part. You're getting old alone. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, if you work on yourself, you get very seasoned in quite some things. But because you're putting in the work, you're going through the experiences, you're learning about yourself, about your ability, about the reality of things, and that really makes a difference. And that I love for your slogan also, that you need to tell the story that candles tell again. Relearn the story that they tell. I love the idea of that they're telling a tale for someone who's able to listen and read that. And that's kind of actually the core of your craft, besides the risk management and the execution, and really be strong enough, also strong-minded enough and disciplined enough. That's the structure around it. But the key core is listening to that story, right? That the candle's telling, and go on that. And so that's a very specific thing, extremely specific. It's a super niche, and people always think they're missing out when they're being something, and to me it's the opposite. Focus, I always say that also is the opposite of having options. It's the reduction of options if you want to focus on something. And it's good to be something specific. Damn, this is what physics shows us. Why do you think a table is actually solid? Because it's focused that form,
Yeah.
And it's not gas floating around, so there's no bad in being something specific, and we all think we're missing out if we're not everything at once, because and then we're missing out being something in the same process, and that's just sad, in my world at least. And this also want people to have a change of thinking. It's great to be a specialist in something.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with social media because once we started, there was a lot of backlash from some parts of the industry saying that, oh, okay, these guys are only going for like small moves, 10 pips, 15 pips here and there. And then in the back of my mind, I've said, well, there's no harm in that. I mean, if you can really exploit it with precision, there's no harm in that. And at the same time, I mean, there's one thing that you can do really, I mean, negatively for your own self is that to tell somebody, hey, listen, like, if you're doing things like this is wrong. You should be doing it like this. You should be doing it like that. No one does it like this. No, because as you said, everyone's unique, everyone's different, and that's what makes things very special here for us.
True, even though there are also like universal concepts, like, discipline, work ethic, being honest to yourself, these things, they're just count for every one of us in the same way, and but I agree with everything that you said 100%.
Yeah. So before we leave, so we usually end at like 9 a.m. So we're just a little over time here. But like one question I want to ask you is,
my bad,
manipulation. Do we really need to be aware of manipulation every day, or is that just on the institutional level?
So what do you want to hear? My real opinion or the tailored one?
Give us your savage opinion.
Okay, my savage opinion. I don't give a shit about that because I'm again in the arena trying to control something I have no control over. I much more can control my ability to look at it, try to understand the metrics, the cause and effects that are happening as these things transpire or take place, and then understand if there is an angle for me to piggyback it, or to take an advantage out of it. But I'm not gonna be, because I think that the conversation about all these bad liquidity providers or banks, they're stop fishing and stuff. I think what you're doing in the conversation is you're giving them the power over your success and not. And this, I don't want to have that conversation. They're gonna do the shit whether they take your stop or my mother's, that doesn't matter. So stop trying to resist reality. What I also say is like really come to terms with physics. You jump in the water, you're gonna get wet. There's no way around that. And this is how I see this manipulation thing. Like, I don't care if they manipulate or not because I can't change it. What I can change is whether there's an angle for me to piggyback, get on that train, yes or no, and work on those details, because then I have control over my ability to either participate in that or decide not to. But I cannot change the fact that they're going to do it or not. So that's why I don't like the focus of that conversation, because it gives someone else, those almighty Illuminati banks, whatever you want to call them, power over what we do and what we can have and what we can't have. And I firmly disagree with that.
Yeah, I know, that's right. That's right. I try not to think about that at all. Nothing.
It's
because
that you don't.
Because like in the real world, it's not affecting me directly at all. And the more we
and if it did, then find a way of dealing with that. Then and if that's a lot more important. Like I said, you cannot change the reality around you. You can analyze it. You can try to see it for what it is really, and then work with it. If you try, what you resist persists. Those I like sayings. You probably have noticed, because in the heat of the moment, you just say a sentence to yourself, and you know what you got to focus on. So that's why I do it for myself actually a lot more than I do it for others. So I'm not trying to resist something that I don't like, because it will persist in my life then otherwise.
Yeah, I know, that's absolutely true. But we're gonna end it off over here. And Alex, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
We
for having
really
me, guys.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Great. Keep on the good work, man.
Thank you, Alex.
I really love it.
Yeah, thank you. We're probably gonna see you next month as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy.
Awesome. So this is Alex's Instagram. If you want to get in touch with him, you can copy it, write it down.
Thank you, Alex. Do exactly the short version of my last name.
If you want to send your beats, your recordings.
Man, that train has left the station a long time ago.
We could bring it back. Map 2.0.
All right, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. Love to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. We'll see you all Monday morning.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Take care.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, everybody.